2017, a living room in Monterrey, Mexico. Three sisters set up a camera, press record, and play a Metallica riff. The video explodes online. Millions of views in days. The music industry watches and walks away. And that decision may be the most expensive mistake in modern rock history. Because by the time major labels finally started paying attention, Daniela, Paulina, and Alejandra Villarreal had already built something most new rock bands never achieve: a global fan base, sold-out crowds, and fans funding albums before the industry even arrived. That's the part nobody talks about. The official story says The Warning got lucky. Viral moment, YouTube algorithm, internet miracle. But that story hides something far more dangerous. Because they didn't accidentally survive outside the system. They learned how to outgrow it. And the people who say no are still trying to understand what they created. The surface narrative about The Warning is simple. Three cute sisters upload a Metallica cover, the internet goes crazy, and suddenly a carrier appears out of nowhere. Wholesome, accidental, safe. Maybe you just discovered them, and you're already wondering, where have they been all this time? Why is the next big thing in rock still independent? The answer is not that they were not ready. The answer is that the industry tried to change them. But that version of the story hides the part that should make the music industry nervous. Because viral moments don't build decade-long careers. Systems do. What followed wasn't luck. It was years of discipline, calculated construction happening almost completely outside the industry's fields of vision. While most young bands were trying to get noticed by labels, The Warning was quietly learning how to build something much more powerful than visibility: loyalty. Not passive listeners, not casual clicks, real emotional investment. Fans who would eventually fund albums before recording even started. Fans who would travel across countries to see them live. Fans who didn't behave like consumers. They behaved like believers. They were not discovered, they arrived. And to understand why that matters, you have to look at what the industry itself was saying at the time. Because the uncomfortable truth is the music industry wasn't trying to sabotage The Warning. It simply couldn't recognize them. The system was built to reduce risk, to search for familiar patterns, to find artists who already resembled something that had worked before. And The Warning matched almost none of the expected signals. Three sisters from Mexico, heavy rock, independent, self-managed, no obvious radio formula. So the machine kept filtering them out. There is a story of an executive who, after watching them play live, said they were impressive, but not signable. 3 months later, they sold out a venue in the same city without him. And from the inside, those decisions probably even looked logical. But while executives were searching for predictable market categories, something else was quietly growing underneath them. A direct relationship between artist and audience that no traditional gatekeeper could fully control anymore. No radio intermediary, no press dependency, no label-approved identity, just connection. And slowly, without the industry fully realizing it, that connection started becoming more valuable than the system itself. This is the moment the story stops being about one band. Because the music industry was originally built around one central advantage: control of distribution. Labels had the radio access, the press, the retail networks, the marketing infrastructure, the money. Artists needed the machine because the machine controlled access to attention, but platforms like YouTube and Patreon quietly shattered that leverage. Suddenly, 3 teenagers with a camera could reach more people directly than executives sitting in $1 million offices. The Warning didn't need tracks. They needed an internet connection. They didn't need radio stations. They needed fans willing to share clips faster than marketing departments could react. They didn't need permission anymore. And that changed everything. Because the majors became incredibly efficient at featuring artists through old world logic, right as the internet started rewarding something completely different: authentic emotional connection. Do you think The Warning would be the same band today if a major label had signed them in the beginning? Tell me in the comments. I read everything. When the industry repeatedly passed on The Warning, it didn't just leave them without a deal. It left them without a ceiling. No label means no creative compromise, no A&R executive telling them to soften the sound, change the language, simplify the production, or target a demographic. No contract clause defining who owns what, who approves what, who controls what. They built Patreon when Patreon was still an experiment. They built a YouTube presence with the discipline of a media company. They toured relentlessly on their own terms, market by market, city by city, building the kind of live reputation that algorithm can't manufacture. And then, when the industry finally came back around, suddenly interested, suddenly paying attention, The Warning had something almost no emerging artist ever has at that stage. They didn't need anyone. The leverage had flipped completely. And then they released a song called Ego, a direct attack. And if you know the story, you know exactly who that song is talking to. Here's the uncomfortable truth that the industry is slowly waking up to. The Warning is not an anomaly. They are a preview. The model they built, direct fan funding, platform native growth, creative sovereignty, live reputation over radio play, is becoming the default path for the next generation of rock artists. The Warning just got there first. And they got there because they had no other choice. Being rejected didn't break their trajectory. It defined it. Every door that closed forced them to build a window. And those windows turns out to be bigger than the doors. Their fan base doesn't stream them passively, they invest. They follow tour dates across countries. They found albums before they're made. That's not a fan base, that's a movement. And movements don't need labels. Movements need a reason to believe. The fatal mistake the music industry made with The Warning was not rejecting a good band. It was assuming the system itself still mattered more than the artist. That assumption used to be true. It isn't anymore. And the proof isn't just in streaming numbers or critical acclaim. The proof is in the confidence of three sisters we were told they didn't fit, and built something so powerful outside the machine that the machine eventually had to chase them instead. Because this theory was never really about whether the warning could survive without the industry. It was about whether the industry understood the world had already changed. And that's the part most gatekeepers never see coming. Systems built around control always believe they will stay necessary forever. Until suddenly, one generation learns how to build without them. That's what makes the warning unsettling to the old model. Not just the music, not just the success, the independence. But fans no longer wait for magazines, radio stations, or executives to tell them what matters. Connection moves faster than infrastructure now. Belief spreads faster than approval. And once artists learn that, the balance of power never fully goes back. The industry closed the door. The warning built a house. And now, they're charging rent. That's all for me. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe for more Put the Rock on content. Au revoir.